Good evening, everyone, and welcome to PrematchMuti. We've got Mr. Koki here. His name is Musa.
Is that my new name?
And then we've got Wonga Denga, Mr. Arsenal himself. I don't know if he's supporting the men's team yet. And then we've got Coach Nick, who's come out of the bubble. This is his first day out of the bubble. Coach, how do you feel, man? How do you feel? Do you feel good to at least hug the lady in your life?
Hey, man, driving home from Pretoria yesterday, it felt surreal. I felt like I was breaking out of jail there, but it was it was cool. It was cool. It was a tough week, but yeah, we ended up doing quite well. So yeah, we'll have to see how we go next bubble. But I'm quietly confident.
How long were you in the bubble for?
So we went in on Wednesday, came out on Wednesday, but it was very gruesome. Like, we played on Wednesday, played on Friday, played on Monday, played on Wednesday. So like literally such a short turnaround time between the different 90 minutes that we were playing. And yeah, Jason's laughing there. Jason was with me. He was my roommate.
Your assistant coach.
My assistant coach. But yeah, it was very cool. A very cool experience to head up a prestigious university like University of Pretoria. I've come to learn of the pressures that come with the job, and I can't cry about it or moan about it. I need to just take it in my stride and see what we can do. Yeah.
Were you happy with how your team performed over the 4 games?
I'm also, like, if I'm honest with you, I couldn't have asked more from the boys. Obviously not the greatest start if you look at it on paper, but in terms of performance, I think we outplayed TUT. We ended up, drawing the game where we should have probably won it. I think I spoke to you guys on the show last week, Thursday, I think going into the Free State game, maybe I was a little bit too confident. That maybe fed into the group itself, and we ended up, getting the shock that you don't want in the second game. And maybe it came at the right time, because the reaction that we got straight away on Monday and on Wednesday was incredible. So yeah, Jason speaks about the celebration.
No, but that's from that
volley.
We'll get into the celebration. I think the video. There's a video that we might show, and it shows a bit of the celebration. But
you should actually get a yellow card for celebrating like that, Coach. Getting on the field like that, Coach.
I'll take the yellow. I'll take the yellow.
Big Pula Jose. But for those who haven't watched it, we interviewed 3 of his players on Monday after Monday's game. On Monday, they played against Wits University, and they won 2-1. And then they played another game yesterday where they played VUT and they won 1-0. And then last week, Friday, they played Youths Kufsis, and they lost their 3-1. And in the first game, they drew 1-1 with TUT. So it's 7 points out of a possible 4 games. It's better than what Steve Bruce has done so far in
100%. Listen, I think my target was to try get into the top 4. I don't think Steve Bruce would have done that. So I'm happy with the reaction again. Like I said, the team has reacted. We've asked for a reaction and we got a reaction. So that's a sign of true character within the group. And Musa, you've been part of a winning team at Tux. We've peaked at the right time. There's no point. People are talking a lot about UJ. Listen, credit to them, congrats to them for being top of the log, but no one looks at who's top of the log after 4 games. At the end of the tournament. So we'll keep going about our business quietly. And yeah, I'm certain and I'm pretty sure we'll find ourselves in the top 4, and then we're 2 games away from lifting a trophy. As Jose Mourinho always says, knockout football is different to league football. You can find yourself in a knockout game. You prepare for that game specifically. Everything else that you've done, everything else that you're going to do in the future means nothing. Everything that matters is that knockout game. So our first task is to get to that semi-final. Once we get there, we'll handle that when it comes. The media can talk. They've written us off already, and actually, quite frankly, I like that. They must write us off.
That's the same conditions we had when we did go on and win the tournament. The first game, it was a nightmare for us actually going out on the field to a team that.
Wonga's been quiet, man. Have you watched any game, man? Have you seen anything? Have you seen any of the top bins? Have you ever seen the top bins? No.
No, I haven't seen all of it.
Okay, look, it's coming your way.
Of course, he will amble away from this one. Left and right footer. Just to keep the goalkeeper guessing. We wait to learn who will strike it. Five-man wall assembled. Silatola strolls up. Oh! How about that?
So that's the free kick. This is the top bids. As Wanga would say, top bids. But Coach Nick, that reaction was kind of like a reaction. There was no. It was just like.
That one, there was a lot happened. I'm not going to get into it, but a lot happened. Also, I have a former colleague in John. He's at Wits now. A few former guys that we sort of been with, and there was a lot of tension around the game. Some things that were happening in the boardroom that I don't really want to get into now. And it came to a point where it was the 88th minute or the 87th minute, whatever it was. I said to myself, I've been here before. I've celebrated goals like this at this time in the game, and I've seen my ass. Like, we've conceded the second to draw the game. So, when I did celebrate, I was very quiet. I had a bottle of Energade in my hand, and I threw it down out of, I don't know if it was anger, excitement. And then I turned around, and our facility manager was there, and he was celebrating, and I just gave him a wink and a smile, and I said, "Yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
It's coming."
But that's a different celebration to the one we're about to see now. So you guys are probably thinking to yourself that Nick has some muti going on, pre-match muti. We give him all the muti show just to make sure that his team wins in spectacular fashion in the last minute. I couldn't believe it when I saw it yesterday, but if you guys haven't seen it, here it is.
That's a very different celebration.
Guys, I think we need to see that again, guys. I think we need to see that. And that right there, guys, is Jose Nick Mourinho right there, celebrating with his goalkeeper. Different emotion to what he showed on Monday's game, but this is just raw emotion. The man was happy. what was going through your emotions there? Because there you showed emotions there.
Nah, I think we were just so frustrated because we've been on top of all the teams we've played, especially in the first half, and it's a big challenge that we're having with our players now. It's not taking our chances and killing the game off, especially in the first half. Because if you can go 2-0 up at halftime, the complexion of the game is completely different. So I think for me, what was so frustrating is that we had the chances again. We let VUT back in the game. They got a few chances. We got a few chances. We scored a goal in the 88th minute, actually, that you obviously didn't see in the clip. But we had scored a goal and they ruled it off for a handball, but it actually hit my captain's face. The ball hit him in the face, went in, and the ref thought it was a handball. And we had celebrated something similar to that in the 88th.
What Jason is saying.
Yeah.
What Jason is saying, yeah.
Yeah, so we and I felt like a bit of a fool, but then when we scored that one in the 91st, I was like, come on, I need to enjoy this one. Also because, boys, like, if I'm honest with you, after 7 games, after 4 games, if you go in with 7 points, you're giving yourself a chance. That also put us in the top 4. So mentally, going into a semi-final spot, into the next bubble, psychologically for the other teams, for our team, it's a good position to have. If we draw that game, we're sitting on 6th or 5th, and it's not the best position that we could have had. So, we would have still been in it, but I think it was just also a culmination of the stress we had gone through over the last week. To score it in that fashion was incredible moment. There was no cameras. There was one journalist filming that goal. So yeah, it was just a nice way to end off the bubble and sets us up for a good encounter with UJ next.
No, that's great. So just to wrap up, when are you going back into the bubble?
So we go back in on Wednesday next week. We play against UJ, top of the table team. I think they're getting a little bit too loud at the moment, so we must just try to pull them back down to earth a little bit. So hopefully we can get a positive result there. I think if we can get a win, we've got 1 foot in the semi-finals. Play against KZN on Friday, which are the whipping boys. If you want to look at it, they are at the bottom of the log. They haven't won a game, but guys, if I'm very honest with you, this competition is a very even competition. Teams are beating everyone. I wouldn't be surprised if a UKZN steal a few points off 1 or 2 teams in the next couple of games. So, yeah, I think the first focus is to get the 3 points, and then we'll take it from there.
It makes sense of what you mentioned, because sometimes with the intensity of the amount of games you guys are playing in such a short space, to keep your performance at peak is very difficult. It's even professionals struggle with it, and something they have to contextualize and think about. You mentioned that you are looking to get towards your peak performance as the tournament progresses. How are you guys thinking about that with these bubbles, and how that kind of affects your training and your focus?
Yeah, listen, Musa, like, if I'm honest with you, you've played the game. You can't be training too much when you're in the bubble, especially if you're a starter. There's certain players in the squad that know they're starters and they're important to the team. Everyone's important. Don't get me wrong. If any of my players are watching, but you do get players that are regulars, if you want to call them that. And we got to manage that situation. You can't be playing 90 minutes 4 times in 7 days and expect for the performance to be 100% correct or 100% perfect. So what we try and do is try and keep the players as fresh as possible. The recovery is important. Sometimes the sessions have been walkthroughs, like literally moving the ball while players are walking, not even running, because fresh legs is everything in this tournament. The only time we're going to be able to play our freshest team is Game 1, Game 5, and final. The rest is all back-to-back. So in terms of the preparation, we're doing a lot of analysis. We're trying to break things down for players so they can see it. And, trusting the squad and making a few changes where we need to freshen up certain areas within the team is something that I think we're getting right, because if you can freshen up departments, you might find that that sort of wins you the game. Because if you play in a certain 11 every single game, you're going to break down. You're going to explode. Every team has a tipping point, in terms of load. So, yeah, I mean, it is exciting. It is demanding. I always said it. The fittest team's going to come out here, and I think we've got the fittest team. We've got
the sports science is working, champ.
Yeah, remember Muzi? Do you remember Muzi? Muzi Maluleka, the bodybuilder.
Maluleka, okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's got a master's in football sports science, and his project is now to work with me and try and get this team as fit as possible. So yeah,
that's great.
Incredible to see what he's doing, the work he's doing behind the scenes, top notch. So it's not like, listen, the team I have behind me, in terms of staff, is incredible. Jason, obviously, he's going to give me shit on this show, but he's first class. Presentations, breaking down the games. I'm the one who's getting emotional. He's the one keeping me calm. My other assistant, Vieira, is also just me and him are like flipping Energizer bunnies, and he's the one there. Doesn't celebrate goals. He calls it the Steve Barker fist pump. He does this, and then he sits down and looks that's so we complement each other. We balance each other out, I guess.
That's brilliant to hear. I'm glad to hear he's pulling you back from fetching the ball in the goals there, my man. It looked like you're going the whole way to the goalkeeper's goal.
I actually thought about it. I was like, should I run right across the field there? But then I was like, hey, I might get some frowns there from the directors the next day. So,
man, you had to keep it composed a bit.
But we scored in we scored in the 91st minute yesterday. That ref played 8 minutes added on time. So I still had 7 minutes to endure, bro. 7 minutes to endure there.
That must have been painful. You don't want to be looking like a fool.
Painful.
But that's all good. But I think, as you said, next week Wednesday obviously is your next round. So obviously, we'll watch your games, and hopefully you guys can do well and get into the semi-finals. I think that's your mandate from Goalloungetv. Goalloungetv, the mandate we're setting for you is to make semi-finals. We know Tax haven't given you a mandate.
Me, I'm saying you must win this thing, champ.
Yeah,
win this thing.
I don't know.
You must win this thing.
I don't know.
Congratulations and all the best for the next few rounds.
Thanks a lot. Listen, long way to go. But I'm proud of the boys. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, no. Let's look at the Premier League fixtures for the weekend. Wanga.
We're not going to chat about Ole.
No, I was going to start about Nick's fixture of tomorrow, but let me give Nick a bit of a break. He needs to rest his vocal cords, so he'll come up after Wanga. But Wanga, you're facing Burnley, another team I think that we could consider a team that's inferior to you, similar to a Norwich. And obviously you beat them 1-0, unconvincingly so, I think. So what do you think in terms of going into this weekend's game against the Burnley, against Chris? You won 1-0. Is that convincing?
Yeah. In terms of the score, I would say it's unconvincing, but I think the performance, we deserved the win.
I didn't watch a game, but Tim Krul said that it's not what they deserved. I don't know.
What?
Tim Krul. Tim Krul said that's not what they deserve, bro.
Tim Krul, there's no way. It's crazy. We're all over them.
Okay, just take your 3 points and run.
But don't shoot the messenger, bro.
Take your 3 points and run, champ.
Going into this game, what do you think on Saturday? What do you think of this game?
Look, I think I said it before. If a team like Burnley would give us problems if we carried on playing the way we played beforehand. Again, we don't know how Arteta is going to start this game, but I think you guys would agree with me. I mean, with if you look at a team like your Man City or Chelsea, they've got a back. The two centre back pairings. You find the best one. I mean, and then you don't separate it. Liverpool lost Van Dijk and obviously a bunch of other people there, but I mean they couldn't even find. They were always trying in the season. They were trying to find the correct pairing, and Arsenal would do that, but they had all the players fit, Liverpool, you could understand what the situation was. So I think then in Arsenal, we played now against Norwich. It looked like our defense looked better than the other times. But now you see again, I think Burnley would test us. I mean, those guys are gonna bully you, they're gonna throw in to them is a set piece. Corner, they're gonna try to score off their corners, that's where they score. I mean, that's where they get their goals off. I mean, the free kicks. So I don't think it'll be an easy one for Arsenal. They'll have to. I think up front we've got what it takes to score, but again, the question is, will you deliver? We've only got 1 goal in 4 games. Arteta feels positive. There's positive news coming from Arteta, but again, he's not going to go out there and say that you feel gloomy and it feels difficult. But I think, they've got to try and stay positive and get the result. The next few games, we need results. Especially against the Burnley.
We said before we came onto the show. I think obviously Musa and I obviously were making a joke, the fact that you guys are not playing tonight, but just that as a factor. Do you think that will help you guys this season? I remember there was a season where I think Chelsea didn't play European football, and I think that's the season they won under Conte. So do you think such a situation could help Arsenal to get into a top 6?
Yeah, look, it should. So it should. That's why I was also very disappointed with the start that we had. But maybe now we'll see when the Champions League games come in. It was there was also Liverpool as well. I think Liverpool with Brendan Rodgers, they went in the Champions League. Guys can correct me if I'm mistaken. And they went far during that season as well. They also had that time when they were out, and they managed to use that time, to come back. It was still a steady progress, but I mean, year after year they got better and better, and eventually winning Champions League and the league. Now Arsenal in the same position.
I do hear that consideration of like teams having to go to Champions League and finding some challenges when they do travel back into the Premier League, and their performance does wane after a couple of games in the Champions League and a couple of games in the league. But I don't think that's Arsenal's problem at all. I think even if they were, first of all, they can't play in Champions League because they're not close to being as good enough, and even if they don't have that issue of being in Champions League, I think they have bigger problems, which it looks like the players are fatigued or something's wrong, but it's not from traveling. It's more from whatever's happening in that camp and in that stuff.
You see, I think for me, so again, I'd always say it. I think Arsenal's problem lies in the intensity which they play against Norwich. I mean, that was like a final. I mean, obviously the pressure behind you, like, look, you've just lost 3 games. Now you're playing Norwich, and I think that's going to everyone's head. And maybe I'm hoping that's not the only thing that's driven them, because now they've got the win. Now the question is, can you do that? I mean, I'll be happy if I saw that 80% of the games, But last season, you'd get matches. Most of our matches were played. Arsenal always looked lackadaisical. It's not the Arsenal I remember. I just need to see them trying to win. And also what was also different to the game as well, and I've mentioned it before, is I've always said that the fans need to get behind our team. Not just when we're winning or when it's a draw and it looks like we're going to score. They need to always get behind our team. Last week, they were behind. You could hear the fans. You could actually hear the Emirates Stadium. It's usually quiet. This time, you could hear the Emirates Stadium. Guys getting behind the players, and eventually, we finally broke the goal. But I wonder what would have happened if we went down. Would the fans have been the same? We're like, same story, and then just dip out. So I think the fans also have a huge role to play. The guys that are there in the stadium when we do play home.
I wanted to touch on something that Oketo said here. Is that I guess when we were talking about the rest, she says it should help, but unfortunately she doesn't see them getting in top 6. And I think that's some of the sentiments that Musa has shared as well. But I just want to just at least greet everyone who's commented. Jason, the assistant coach, He's Carlos Queiroz 2.0 probably to Sir Alex Ferguson. If Nick does win, then some other guy called Claudio Barrero. I don't know him. I'm not familiar with him, but he seems like a Liverpool fan. And then we've got Pums, Mr. Regular, and then Koketsu here as well. But yeah, if anyone is watching, share your comments on the topics that we do share, and obviously we'll try and engage as best as possible. Hit a like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, tell everyone, tell your kids to subscribe, all of them, everyone to subscribe. We've got quite a diverse group of people.
And as Mosa would say, shout out.
Shout out to Koketsu. I think her view of Arsenal is exactly the view I have. Like, even if the guys were well rested, they had 2 weeks off before every game, I still don't think they're good enough to make it to top 6 position with all the other top 4 teams traveling.
Koketsu saying there that Arsenal fans are supportive. Look, I would disagree, because when we're winning, they'll be there, And I'm talking about in the stadium now. But if we're losing, it's very like, if you look at the other teams, look at Liverpool, look at
every weekend,
Man United,
it's tough.
Look at Chelsea in their home grounds. If they were to go a goal down, just listen to the support behind them. And I think then you'd say, if Arsenal go down and it's 70 minutes and we're playing a team that we should be winning against, you'll see guys walking out the stadium. Well, just bro. It's a long way home. This ticket is quite expensive. These guys are disappointing me. They expected a goal and they're out. But one thing I wanted to mention,
Pums is right though. Take a 1-0, bro. Take your 1-0.
Yeah, just take it away.
Bro. I played VT yesterday. I take 1-0. 91st.
You took a 1-0. You took a 1-0.
Points, bro.
You're about to take a ball from in the center there as well.
You take a 1-0 easily. Take a 1-0.
If you gave Arteta 4 1-0 results with poor performances in a row, he would take it, bro.
I agree with you. I think it's just for me, like now, not even now, all the time. It's about soccer. That's what soccer's about. It's the W, Because now if he wins 4-0 tomorrow, this weekend, and then the other games, it's losses. It just doesn't matter. It's all about, for me, it's just about the win, getting over the line. And then one thing I wanted to mention was, we did ask about Jack Wilshere and stuff, and then Arteta came out, they asked him today. And he said, they asked, what did he say? He said, the club knows him. They was known for a long time. He's a good guy, and they would do anything to help him, So what they're trying to do at the moment is they're sitting down with Jack Wilshere and they're trying to understand what it is that he needs right now. And then they asked him the possibility of him signing, and he said, "Oh," and he chuckled, and he said, "We can't jump. Let's not jump there. At the moment, we're talking with him. Yeah, let's not jump there."
About
and
Jack
he
Wilshere's
chuckled.
career?
Me?
How's it? Has it worked out? Has it panned out?
Sad.
Yeah, look, we spoke about it on Tuesday, and I think I think everyone comes to the conclusion that it is sad. Him deciding to leave. Look, it's life, bro. You make decisions. He could have stayed, could have gone. He made a choice. He's lived with it. I just think he mustn't feel sorry for himself. He made a decision. It happens in football. The stories we see, like your Ronaldos, your Messis, your Neymars, guys, I think it's even less than 5% of the soccer players. It's very rare. According to stats, for players to even finish a career, for someone to even have a 10-year career, that's incredible. Even though that that's the only thing that we see. That's the thing that's advertised to us and seen in our face. That's very rare, guys. Very rare. I think the common thing is maybe like a 6-year, 5-year. Those are the common things you see in football. So I think Jack, it happens. He was a good player. If he plays again, he must just be good enough to play for the team. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, no. I think Nick wouldn't mind taking him there at Newcastle. But yeah, Nick, you've got an interesting fixture tomorrow night against the team. I think that you've consistently questioned some of their tactics in certain games, and I think they've started the season Similarly to you, yes, they probably had bigger games to play, but they've obviously not gotten that much points from the first 4 games.
Yeah, I mean,
what do you think of the game?
Listen, I've been quite vocal about Leeds. I still I watched them against Liverpool, and just I don't understand it. Like, sometimes you have to put your hands up and say the team that you're playing against is better than you, and show that little bit of respect, and you can play for a result. These smaller teams have proven that. You can play against your Chelseas, your Arsenals, Arsenal's in the smaller team category. You could play your Chelseas, your Man United, your Man City. Sorry, one guy, just and you can grind a result out if you are a little bit, what's the word? Like, I don't want to use pragmatic, but a little bit more conservative in your approach. There's still core tendencies that Leeds can actually throw out to oppositions if they want to, in terms of their pressing, in terms of their expansiveness. But there are moments in games where I feel they could just tighten it up and take a bit of pressure for 15-20 minute spells if need be. But from a Newcastle perspective, it's just another game for us. It's a lottery. We could show up. I thought we were quite good. Up until we conceded the second goal against Man United. I don't know if Selo agrees. I think we kept our shape well. We were creating chances. We were creating chances on the transition. I wouldn't say Ronaldo was the difference on the day. I think Man United probably would have won anyway. But in terms of, our keeper probably killed us a little bit. But if you do,
but it was the right time for him to score that goal, as him being there back at the club, the second goal. Back in advantage.
100%. Listen, I think the stars were written for Man United to score 4 goals and smash Newcastle. At the end of the day, that's that. But I look at just what's been going on at the club. Steve Bruce was questioned as to, did he take a holiday? I don't know if you guys heard the story. He went on holiday. Yeah, he took the man took a holiday, bro. He took a 4-day holiday during the international break. And then when asked about it, it was the newspaper that is from Newcastle, the Chronicle. He hammered the newspaper article and he says, "You want to know why the fans are against me? It's because of the rubbish that you write, and I'm not going to answer your question." Why couldn't he just answer the question? Why couldn't he just say, "Nah, I was on holiday," or "I wasn't on holiday"? So obviously he's got a bit of a conflict. So I mean, you play in Man United, you're playing in Man United with Ronaldo in your team, and you take a holiday 9 days before, and I'm like, my man, like, come on, like you're taking us for a joke. So, I'm always optimistic. What I like about Newcastle in these moments is when the fans are back at the stadium and they're cheering on our exciting players and the players that really want to fight for the club, regardless of the situation. So you see in your say Maximum, like literally trying his best. I thought he was incredible for that goal we scored. Almiron, there's players there that actually want to fight for the team. But unfortunately, we've got a leader that, I must be careful what I say because I'm also in a hot seat myself. But I just don't see, but I just don't see that sort of, I just think he's a little bit ancient. I think he needs to, if I had so many bad results, I probably would have walked. Especially if it's a team I support. Because I don't want to see the team I support do, and I saw an incredible stat. After 80 games, we had conceded under Benitez. I think we had conceded 79 goals. After 80 games with Bruce, we've conceded 132 goals. So whoever can sit there and tell me that Benitez is the same as Bruce or Bruce is the same as Benitez is joking. Is lying to himself. Look at what Everton did. Look at what Everton did on Monday to Burnley. They were flipping hot, man. They were hot.
I was going to say, Kevin, how's it going? Thank you for joining us again. You've been MIA, but look at what he says. Obviously, is the fact that Stevie Bruce has the worst win percentage in EPL history, and for a coach to be still in a job still being offered jobs in the Premier League. You know, he was in the Championship when he was offered this job. I think it was Sheffield Wednesday. Was it Sheffield Wednesday? Right?
Yeah, that's correct.
That's now relegated to League One. He didn't really do much with that team. I don't know. Has he ever promoted a club?
No, so I think he's got the best record with promoting teams. So
promoting teams, okay.
So from, listen, give him his credit. He's done what he's done in football. But I'd said it a few weeks ago. The Premier League is finally getting rid of its dinosaurs. You know, Roy Hodgson was the most recent one. Sam Allardyce wasn't offered a job. Yeah. And the last one is Steve Bruce. And I mean, like, we've seen a league of exciting managers. You've got Thomas Tuchel at Chelsea. You've got Klopp. You've got young managers at Wolves, at Spurs. You know, Benitez coming back, who's won the Champions League.
Even Watford.
That is, for me, that's the difference. You know, like, the fans just want to try. I keep saying it. We want to try. But let me talk about this game quickly. Like, for me, it's a bit of a hit and miss. I think Leeds can be there for the taking if our best players can show up. But we're also very vulnerable. So, unfortunately, we need to stop conceding goals. And I think Callum Wilson's going to be a big miss. I see we lose him for at least 4 to 5 games, I think it is. So there's our goals for you. You know, we don't have goals then. So it might be, it's nice to have the Premier League back and Newcastle playing against Leeds, and I'll be excited for a Friday night game. I'll have my beer. You know, I'll be very loud on Tuesday if we win. But you know what? It's a bit of a hit and miss for me. I can see us winning. I can see us drawing. I can see us losing. Like, it just depends what shows up on the day, to be honest with you.
Okay, that's cool. The next game. Okay,
Leeds is. I'm just thinking or pondering, how's Leeds been looking at going forward? Because generally they were sacrificing a lot of their defensive work, or a lot of their defensive stability, to actually be more expressive going forward and score a lot of goals. That's why you could see the likes of Bamford featuring. This season has been. I haven't seen them score as many goals.
Yeah, I think
in the first opening games.
I think also, if you look at it, their game model is based on pressing. So they press high up the pitch, which leaves holes naturally at the back, because if you press in high and you don't press as a unit, generally there's space in behind for teams to exploit. So I think teams have worked out how to bypass their press first and foremost, or they're playing a little bit more direct against a team like Leeds. Like, if you look at Man United's goals, I think 3 of the 5 goals that they scored against Leeds were on the transition. They had absorbed them, won them off their pressing or their mistake within the front forward third, and then boom, they were gone. So yeah, that's I think that's sort of the but I mean, I said every team has their 1-year bounce. You know, there's always one team from the championship that have a great season, and you might see Leeds struggle this year, but they have a good squad and they've got a great manager, so it will be interesting to see.
You know, with Leeds, it's so interesting because last season I feel that they had 2 different parts of the season. First part of the season they were open, they just want to attack and millions of goals and everything. And then second part of the season was that little run they had where they played a United and drew. They played Liverpool and drew. They beat Arsenal. They beat Spurs. You know what I mean? And they had a good run where those wins were 1-0s or 1-1s or 0-0s. You know what I mean? They weren't like 3-3 or anything like that. And I think
or 6-3s.
They need to go back to whatever they were doing in that part where they even beat Man City away from home. You know, they need to go back into what did they do right at that point in time for them to do well at that time, and try replicate it now, because in this, as you say, as Jason says, there's that some of the teams have figured them out, and if you know that Leeds set up this way, you can obviously beat them. So they need to.
I do think the problem that Leeds also have, and no offense to any of their fans, but I think a lot of them thought, okay, well, we finished 9th or whatever it was, we can kick on to European football. But as Jason says, you've got that second year syndrome. They actually need to stabilize for at least half of this season. Try and stabilize, get to 40 points as quickly as possible, and then look for ambitions of potentially going 100%. to a top, whatever it is, to a top 6 or a top 7. So I think they need to just rein it in a little bit, get safe, because they've been there before. They know. You know, they're not big. They're not too big to get relegated. Newcastle were, in my opinion, too big to get relegated. They were relegated twice. No team is too big to get relegated. So Wonga, just watch out.
I'd actually echo that same advice too, Wonga. Like, honestly, same thing. Before they can fix and change a lot of things at Arsenal, they have to first make sure they're safe, man. I think they can't just write on the name to believe that they're gonna be able to get their 40 points this season.
Guys, stranger things have happened in football. Stranger things have happened.
No,
you would never think Juve would have got relegated or whatever it was, demoted.
Yeah, match-fixing rubbish. But yeah, yes. Speaking about the family club, I wouldn't mind seeing the family club be relegated and seeing the meltdown from Claudio. But this is an interesting game. I think that obviously Crystal Palace got their first win of the season against a good Spurs team. I think obviously the confidence will be high.
3-0.
3-0. Yeah, 3-0 was a hammering. But yeah, what do you guys think of this game at Anfield? Do you think Crystal Palace have a chance?
They did look like a better team against Tottenham when they did win that game. You know, they had a lot better possession. They had a lot more. They were being more expressive and actually trying to open up the game a lot more than Tottenham. They were even frustrating Tottenham players so much so that there was that red card that came out in the game as well. So I think Crystal Palace, they always pose a threat. The players that they have, the staff that they have, are good enough to keep people on their toes. But with what I've seen with Liverpool, especially with the Champions League victory, I think they are really figuring it out. They're coming to become the Liverpool of old, you know, where you could see their depth and their quality and their strength in kind of like pulling a result out of the game. It's an AC Milan team which is also very experienced. Very, very good players. They can travel well. They're Italian by nature. And that Liverpool team still grinded out a result, and they did it very, very well in front of that the home fans. So I think it's exciting, very, very exciting to see what Liverpool. Pumlani says Zaha's an idiot. He's such an interesting player. Yeah, he's such an interesting player. Why?
I don't know why I say he's an idiot. But Wonga, what do you think of your former captain, man? One of the greatest midfielders that ever played in the Premier League. You know, what do you think of him so far as a coach of Palace, of what you've seen?
Look, I mean, I didn't see much of the Crystal Palace game, but I mean, obviously, we know that I think Vieira is taking on sort of the same thing that he played under, and that's the attacking football, you know.
Yeah.
And I think to get and it's a change to the way the Crystal Palace played, you know. And I think it also does sort of suit the players that are in the team as well, especially the forwards as well. Benteke, not convincing for me, but I mean, yeah, I think he can do a job somewhere there. I mean, just play. I mean, you probably as an option of doing. I mean, changing it up. I mean, when they're going forward. But I think in terms of, I mean, Vieira. Look, it's a 3-0 win. It's his first win in the Premier League. I think it's too early to say anything, to be fair. But it's for me. I like the fact that he's going out there and he's trying to do the job. He's putting his foot forward and he's like, look, this is what he wants and this is what he wants. He's not trying to shy away from it, and trying to be careful about it. And that's the kind of guy he was. That's the kind of guy he was at Arsenal. Something Arsenal I don't think we'll see in my lifetime again, but yeah.
It's exciting for me because, like, Vieira is that type of player where, yes, he'd probably coach his team to be a lot more offensive and attacking, but the difference between his team and a Leeds team is he'll be very aware of his opponent. So he'll be very respectful and kind of manage that game. Yes, go out and attack, but also manage phases in the game where the opponents are going to be a better team. And I think he has that psyche about him, which will be exciting to see if you put it onto the team. Yeah.
No, that's true. No, I think it will be interesting. And just to touch on something that Jason said, that their new signing scored 2 goals, on his debut. Edward, obviously they signed him from Celtic. And I think it does happen where a team that you don't expect to maybe sign a certain type of striker that gets that striker. But I think it's sometimes as well as that the Premier League, there's so much money that Crystal Palace can sign an Edward from Celtic, whereas maybe a team like West Ham needs a striker that doesn't sign a striker, But I guess that's the competitiveness of the Premier League. You get good players in every single team in the Premier League. You'll get quality players, and you ask yourself, how did they sign that player? Next,
and it's going to be interesting. Sorry, with him and Benteke, they're actually gonna have to both improve, right? Like, yes, he comes as being the highest goal scorer in his league previous 2 seasons, but Benteke is there, right? And you can teams can actually mold themselves around Benteke, right? That lanky, tall striker that you get the ball up to, and then everybody else plays around him. If they're gonna change the model, the other striker has to be exceptional, right? If he's not going to hold it up and he's going to be running off the shoulder, he has to be scoring, and that's going to be a proper threat in terms of Benteke's place in the team, in my view.
I won't lie. I don't want to call Musa. Sorry, but for me, Benteke, guys, he's a donkey. Guys. I've watched him.
Nick, would you take Benteke in your team?
I'll take him tomorrow.
Exactly, man, guys. He's got the box. He's lethal in the air. What else do you need?
I think
they'll fight. He'll give defenders a tough time.
I think that's all he can offer you for. Genuine in the air. He's brilliant. I won't lie to him.
What can he? So he can't offer you more than what you've got currently at Arsenal.
With your 1 goal.
No.
Who's your strikers even? Aubameyang and Lacazette are like fucking wingers.
He's not going to offer us anything with what he's got. There's no way. He'll need constant supply. He's not going to get that from us.
But let's move on to Sunday's fixtures now. My team, Man United, going into a tough game at the Olympic Stadium against West Ham.
Very tough game.
Listen, all you need is Jesse Lingard to play. You'll get an assist definitely for West Ham.
You might even get another goal for West Ham.
West Ham is leading. West Ham is leading 2-0. West Ham is leading 2-0 against Dinamo Zagreb.
I see Spurs are drawing 2-2 with Rennes.
That's good.
Away from home. So West Ham obviously are traveling to what's West Ham playing? Zagreb. Obviously they're in Croatia right now. So I think we always talk about the traveling back, from a Thursday evening game in Eastern Europe. So they're in Eastern Europe currently in Croatia. It'll be an interesting game. I think the one benefit that Man United does have going for it is the fact that Mikel Antonio is suspended for this game. He got a red card in the previous game. All those people in fantasy football going crazy because it was a -1 for them. But I think it'll be an interesting game. More than anything, I think my coach needs to show us something. He needs to show us something.
Frustrate you. Frustrate.
He needs to show us. He needs to show us. A bit of something. But I think what often happens is that after setbacks, the next performance, I don't know what he does or what he says. It does change. But there's a lot of concerns in the fan base. The concerns that we've always had, and I think some other people in the fan base that didn't look at it the way that other fans were looking at are now becoming aware of some of the things that the other side of the fan base have been saying in terms of the style of play, in terms of, just what is our style of play. We had 2 shots at goal against a young boys team. We only got a red card in the 37th minute. So for 37 minutes, we had 11 v 11. We only had 2 shots at goal against a young boys team, guys. I'm not being disrespectful to young boys, but when you go down to 10 men, guys, you still need to take possession of the ball, you know what I mean, and then have a plan, whereas we park the bus, we park the bus, you know what I mean, and I think that's the wrong way to go about it.
Is this the first time Bafana has beaten Man United.
Listen to
Young
you.
boys.
Listen to you.
That's
Dick.
I'm sure Bafana can punish United right now.
You've been on social media too much. I saw that joke going around that Bafana beat Man United.
You're out of the bubble, so you're out of the bubble.
So young boys, Bafana. The boys beat Man United, but yeah, I think, man, it will be interesting to see, and it's very frustrating, man. I think, it doesn't give you much confidence in the coach, and you leave asking yourself a lot of questions. But it will be interesting. West Ham is always a tough team to play against. David Moyes always wants to prove a point. And let's see if Jesse Lingard gets an assist the right direction this time.
What I'm interested to see
gonna get a
with
goal.
this whole situation, with Ronaldo being there, I've been thinking about it over the last couple of days. But like Ronaldo, wherever he's been, he's had a massive say with regards to like not how the clubs run, but like he's a big voice to listen to, especially if you're an owner or you're a CEO or whatever it is. Like, I'm trying to think about, like, if I'm Ronaldo and I'm listening to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer talk to me, I'm like, ready, dude.
What
like,
does he know? Like, it's gonna be that thing of like, this guy doesn't know.
I do think he's got respect. Like, I do think he's got a level of respect. But if results start to go bad, a guy like Ronaldo, if he starts to turn on you, then
you lose everybody.
Then you start to lose everyone. So, like, I fear for him. True. He's got to get it right more often than not, because, he's got big personalities in that change room. He does, let alone Ronaldo. You've got Fernandes, you've got Maguire, you've got Pogba.
Varane.
I mean, Varane. De Gea. You've got guys there that are born winners. And at the end of the day, if you're not going to get them playing to the right style to win you football matches, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be in trouble as a coach.
And that's the problem.
Especially if they begin to lose confidence in the coach, right? Like the coach, he can have a game plan, and sometimes the sharpness and the edge from the players isn't there, but the players still believe in whatever the coach is doing. They are times with Ole where it's like it looks frustrating for us as fans, where I feel as a general fan, I could probably make better decisions than him in terms of his coaching abilities.
Easily.
But there are also times where you can't see, like, players that play at the highest levels. They need coaches that come in with a philosophy and an approach, and then the players execute on that because they know what they're expecting from each other and what they're trying to achieve. Whereas with Ole, I don't know if it's that aspirational for the best players in the world to say, look, I see what Ole is about, I see his philosophy, and I'm going to work my butt off to actually achieve it. Where they'd probably do it for Zidane, they'd probably do it for Klopp, they'd probably do it for Mourinho. That type of dynamic where the players would have to mold and rethink and reshape themselves to be part of the philosophy, where it's not evident right now at Man United.
Man, he's got a lot to do, and also the questions are being raised, which is good, about his backroom staff. I think any manager needs to surround themselves with the right backroom staff. I think if you are not experienced as a manager, you surround yourself with someone maybe who's got a bit more experience, or someone who does think a bit differently, or someone who's a different personality to you, someone maybe who's hard and shouts and something. If you more more reserved, as Nick said, his backroom staff, he's got a guy who just fist pumps him, does the Steve Walker fist pump when they score. Then he's got Jason, who keeps his emotions in check, and then you got Nick, who's erratic and thinks wildly, type of thing. So it's a
and they complement each other that way.
They complement each other nicely, So it's three different types of
I'll give you
a
nice example. I watch these documentaries, All or Nothing. They have the football ones, obviously Spurs and Man City, but I've watched the American football ones, and what was quite interesting, there was a team, I think it might have been the Ravens, if I'm not mistaken. Is there Ravens? Is there a team, the Ravens, American football? I don't know. Anyway.
Sounds like it,
this coach was given the job, and he's a young coach, like very young, and he decided, he's like, I'm getting the most experienced coach in NFL history to come be my assistant. To humble yourself down like that, you know, where you can be in a position where you feel that I can bring someone who's potentially a threat to come and help the team and the club do well. I think that's what he needs. He needs someone with a lot of experience to come and work with him, to groom him, because
And
he's still a
help
young
him.
coach, and help him. And you know, and how many guys would do that? I don't know. I don't know if that could work in football, but you know, I agree. You know, I look at you got Carrick there, who's also learning his trade.
He's
You've
young.
got who's the other old man there?
Phelan.
Phelan's like Bruce, man. They must go retire.
Exactly. And then they got McKenna. They got McKenna, who used to be the reserve team coach. He's also young. You know what I mean? So you got two. So you got him and Carrick are, I think, 40 or 39 or whatever. 40, 39, 40, and then you got Solskjaer at 48. You need, you know, if you look at what Sir Alex Ferguson had, you know, Sir Alex Ferguson had in the past had Steve McLaren, cool. You know, probably Steve McLaren as a head coach was not great, but as an assistant, he was a good assistant coach. He was a good assistant coach.
He went to Carlos Queiroz. He said, this guy's top. I want him.
Exactly. You know, Carlos Queiroz was a great assistant. Another assistant coach that did well as well at Man Utd was a guy called René Mullenstein. He was a Dutchman. He was a great assistant coach, you know what I mean, at the time when Rooney and Berbatov were there. He's the one who was assistant coach when he won the Champions League in 2008. So, you know, so you got quality assistant managers who are helping out in the backroom staff. But now you've got other guys who are, you know, not really helping. There's no identity in the team. And I think that's the part with United that I'm struggling with. We need to have an identity, you know, form an identity so we can at least, as the fans, when they watch, we can say, hey, this is how Man United are playing today. And at least be proud. Even if you lose, I'm not saying that Man United can't lose. You can lose, but at least lose having tried and say, hey, guys, the other team, the goalkeeper just had a great game and we were just unlucky with a red card or ref was stupid or whatever. But you can't say that about this last game. Our performance and our tactics were just wrong. And I think, let's see what happens in this next game. And obviously, as I said, there's toughest challenges to come. And whatever Wanga's got on his sign there. But let's jump into the big fixture. Let's jump into the big fixture. It's a big fixture of the weekend.
I was struggling to do it there for a second.
Spurs versus Chelsea. Musa, your team is facing I guess you can say a wounded team in the fact that obviously they lost 3-0 and as
London derby.
It was 2-2.
And it's a London derby, yeah.
Right now,
the two big London teams.
Yeah, exactly.
The two big London teams. The two biggest London teams. Do you guys remember last season?
The two competing for top 4. Oh man, yeah, man, I'm very excited about this London derby. It is tricky waters because you know it is a Tottenham that has been wounded. And, you know, sometimes in football, a team that's just been punished like that, they want to bounce back as quick as possible and show their value and show their worth. They've got a Harry Kane in there who's always going to be menacing, who's always going to be somebody that you kind of have to prepare for and plan your approach on the day for so that you don't give him any type of space and opportunities to enjoy himself or get on the ball too much, which is something for us to deeply consider as a club. We are coming off of a high. I think our performances as a team and individuals, there have been good notes. Sal never had a really good game last week.
That was a rubbish performance, eh?
Yeah, he was tired. He was off the pace. He was he was trying to do a Lingard. He showed Lingard how to do it. And so it was good to see that, you know, we have the opportunity to make changes and there's large impacts. Like a Jorginho, having that type of player in the locker room is very, very meaningful. If you have a Kante as well, I mean, imagine that, right? You've got a Jorginho and then you've got a Kante as an option.
Is Kante being rested or is he injured? What's happening there?
He was coming back from injury last that I checked, and it felt like 2 weeks ago they were rushing him a little bit too much when we were playing in Liverpool. He came in, and the first half he was off the pace from what I could see. And it actually helped us to then go a man down so that we could make the change. Yeah. So I think they were trying to bring him back too quickly 2 weeks ago, and then now I think it's more about Jorginho. Saul's there, but I don't think he's adapted. I would have actually, I in hindsight, I thought Tuchel maybe made the wrong decision this past week in terms of trying out Saul in the Premier League game and then getting Jorginho in the European League game, because I would have reversed it around. I would have kept the Premier League team the same with Jorginho in the mix, and then brought Saul into the Champions League game.
The Champions League is the same. It's the same.
Same. Yeah, exactly. He's played a lot more Champions League football. He's played Spanish football. The dynamic is a lot more closer suited for him to make the transition into the team. Which, I looked at that and thinking, okay, potentially this wasn't the greatest call from the coach. But yeah, I think
what was interesting for me, Musa, was that you guys didn't play your best football, but you still managed to smash them. You smashed them. Like there were moments in that game where Villa were like, they were there, you know, they were applying a bit of pressure. Chelsea weren't. You can be honest, like they weren't the Chelsea that you know, but they still won. They still won by 3 goals. So
emphatic.
That's what you want. You know, you're not always going to be on point every game, and I think the fact that you could still get a result like that after not playing your best football is just a great sign to see what can still come.
Yeah, right. It's such a comforting thing to see your team not performing to its best, but still be able to get results. It really is comforting, and it's exactly what happened in the Champions League as well. You know, yes, it is Champions League. You do have a little bit more respect for teams, and you do have teams which are really up for the occasion. But yeah, I wouldn't say we were flying at 90% or 95% peak performance. I think we are still getting into the season, and there's still a lot more. There's still a lot more to be refined in terms of how we approach it and the intensity we bring.
We might as well address the elephant in the room. So since we last saw you, there's been 3 goals by the man. 2 in the Premier League and one in the Champions League since you were on the show. Since you were last on the show. So I don't know what have you been impressed with the goals he scored? I don't know.
Very impressed. Yeah, very, very, very impressed. I must say, he's definitely convincing me that he was the right purchase. Still a little bit too expensive for my view, but you can really see. Yeah, I mean, £100 million is it's not too
much money, but everyone is going to price.
Musa, let me ask you a question. Would you rather have Jack Grealish for £100 million or Lukaku for £100 million?
Lukaku.
We needed a striker. Yeah, we needed an out-and-out striker. We didn't need another ball player. We got Kai Havertz for almost the same amount or 70 million last season. So we couldn't spend that amount of money on another central attacking midfielder or midfield ball player. We needed a striker, an out-and-out. Timo Werner, I don't know when next we're going to see the lad playing, but...
There's League Cup coming up next week, so hopefully some of the French players, maybe your Jolintons can play for Newcastle.
We got knocked out already, bro.
Oh shit!
It's just different.
already out. He's already out of the League Cup before the big boys come. Because the big boys come in at a certain time. He's already out before the big boys come in.
That took space, boy.
I wanted to say, we've got Uncle Drew here. I wonder what his real name is, because Uncle Drew is Kyrie Irving's nickname. So this guy must be a big basketball fan, but he's obviously talking about the All or Nothing documentaries of Spurs and City. And as you know, this season they're covering Arsenal, so there's going to be
Arsenal.
People crying. People doing
Arsenal.
They should just call it nothing.
It's going to be a drama.
Nothing.
It's going to be a drama.
It's going to be nothing. Not all. Nothing. It's going to be called nothing.
Just nothing. Nothing in tough times.
Oh my goodness! I'm gonna watch it.
But Nick, I wanted to ask you. Being an English fan, in terms of your captain Harry Kane, he's been struggling for Spurs. The last game, I couldn't believe the stat. he had no touches in the box. Do you think that what went on in the summer has affected his start to the season?
Yeah, I mean, Kane doesn't ever really have a great start to a season, though, does he? To be fair, like he does need to get into it. But
he never scores in August, apparently.
August generally, yeah. But I mean, listen, I think once Kane hits his straps, he will be a power to sort of be reckoned with for the other teams. However, you know, obviously it would have played with his mind. You know, it also plays with his teammates. You know, like think about it. You know, imagine you're sitting in the change room. You've got a guy there you knew you wanted to leave. It's all over the press, all over the media. You know, you got to also try and negotiate that situation. You know, does he want to play for us? Does he not want to play for us? Knowing Harry Kane, he's probably addressed the issue with everyone. He's probably said, listen, what's been said's been said. You know, we got to move on, and he's a true professional. He will get on with it, and I think he will score goals this season. Will he score as many? I don't know. You know, people have written Harry Kane off in the past, and he's proven them wrong. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes on and scores the most goals again this season. You know, you never know. Spurs are a work in progress. I think they've got a good manager. They will probably get it right more often than not. But yeah, it will be interesting to see how they bounce back after a poor result, looking like a poor result against Rennes as well. But you know, they do generally rise to the big occasion. They are the type of team to go lose to a Palace and then, you know, maybe win against Chelsea. You know, so it is an opportunity for them to fix a few things. And listen, there won't be a player in that change room better than Harry Kane to get the boys riled up and someone keen for a London derby. You know, Spurs and Chelsea is always a fiery game. It's a little bit personal now. I think they sort of deflected away from Arsenal because it became too easy. So they turned their attention to Chelsea.
The Sunday walk in the park.
but I just want to touch on something that
Sorry,
Goblani said. That, you know, Son is a very key player for them, and I think the fact that he wasn't playing last game, and I think Claudio touched on it the last show, is that Kane is always kind of looking for. Oh no, Matt touched on it. Is the fact that Kane always wants to interchange with Son and Bergwijn in terms of the passing and so on. And Son and Bergwijn were both not there, and it just didn't have the same feel in terms of upfront and so on. But just in terms of, I think, the betting corner, the predictions. You know, how we're gonna do them. We're gonna obviously do the quick fire. No explanations, Wonga. Please don't tell us about 2009's fixture against Burnley. Just give us
when Vieira was still playing.
Don't tell us about when Vieira was still playing. Just give us the score line, bro. Just give it to us.
You guys need to understand.
There's context. There's context. So if he mentions Arsenal winning, he needs to explain.
So we're gonna start with Musa. We're gonna start with Musa, then Nick, then Wanga, then myself.
Okay,
the first fixture, Newcastle versus Leeds.
2-1 to Leeds. I like it, Nick. I like it.
So I think we're going to get we need to get a win somewhere. We haven't won a game this season. So I think we're going to win 2-1. I think a Newcastle win.
Wanga?
Yeah, I said, to be honest, I don't know with either team. I think either team can have it. So I just thought, you know what, let me just choose a draw. I think it would be 3-3 draw.
High scoring game.
I think it's going to be 2-1 to Leeds. Unlucky Nick. Next one.
Prove you guys wrong, man.
Burnley against Arsenal.
2-0 Burnley. The tough times are back, boy.
Explanations, yeah.
I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw. Thanks, Pums. I like that. Pums, I like that, brother. No, 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. Okay. Wanga?
I said 2-1 to Arsenal.
2-1 to Arsenal.
Too hard to be losing.
Yeah, I say it's going to be 1-0 to Arsenal.
Hey,
man. Next one, Musa.
3-1 Liverpool.
Guys, this team is looking good, bro. Liverpool. I think
they're really hot.
3-0 Crystal Palace. Sorry, 3-0 Liverpool versus Crystal Palace. No.
You say this team is looking hot.
What Pumps say that Burnley's going to beat you 1-0?
Nah.
Tough times.
What's your prediction for the Liverpool game?
Liverpool, I would say 3-0.
Okay,
3-0 to Liverpool, sorry. Yeah,
I think it'll be 2-0. Yeah, 2-0 to Liverpool. As Nick said, they are looking good right now. Next one, the game at Olympic Stadium.
2-2 in this game.
Nick?
Shit, man. I think a 2-1 win for Man United. I think they're going to turn it around.
Yeah, I think if anyone knows better than us, it would be Selo. If you guys just lost, all he knows what to do now, and he always does it. So 3-1 win to Man United.
Ole out.
Always wins after losing.
I say. Okay, wait. Pumlani said 0-0. Wait, 0-0.
With Ronaldo on the field.
No, Palace.
Can't be 0-0.
He's saying 0-0 the Palace and Liverpool game. And then 3-1 the Man United game.
Okay.
So the Man United game, I say it's going to be 2-1. We can't keep a clean sheet to save our lives. And then the big game for the weekend.
I think we're going to see a 2-1 Chelsea.
Sure. I see a 2-2 draw, yeah. You never get me the win, bro, so I'm not backing you.
I said 2-0 to Chelsea.
There we go, one guy.
Interesting. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw. Pums saying 4-1 to Chelsea. Wow.
I love it. I'm loving it, boy. I'm loving it, Pums.
Away from home.
It's London. It's all of London, eh? London is blue.
No, we'll have to see about that. But just in terms of final thoughts, gentlemen, going into the weekend.
Yeah.
Excited for this weekend, man. This Sunday game is going to be a big one for Chelsea. We have a lot to prove and a lot to actually show. Tottenham, they're a big threat in my view. They have a very good manager and a lot of good players at this point in time who want to prove something. So, I'm excited for Sunday.
Listen, I'm excited to get my first win. Hopefully, guys. You were worried about Wonga's mental health. You don't worry about my mental health, bro.
Check on you.
But guys,
no nice place to be.
My final thoughts, guys. Just we just need to watch this again, guys. We just need to watch this again. And that, guys, is how you celebrate a 91st minute winner, courtesy of the King of the North and South, Lake Stoppard. But guys, it's been great. Thanks for everyone who was on the show tonight. Pumlani, Koketo,
I'm loving
Jason,
it. I received the hat trick, Pumlani.
Kevin, Claudio. Thanks a lot, guys, and enjoy the weekend, and hopefully all our teams win. And see you guys next week. And remember to
good luck, subscribe.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Stop it.